black thing go from left to right, and I thought, I'm going to die out here. No one's ever going to know.
I couldn't believe what my eyeballs were showing me. I'll never forget how evil the eyes were. It was horrible. I mean, I've never seen nothing that evil.
It ran towards me at a rate that I can't even explain. Turned and stared at me, and this look of, I just want to kill you. I want to say it was human, but it wasn't.
He was yelling at me to grab a gun, grab a gun. I was like, for what? He said, just grab a gun. And there's footprints all the way to the door of my house. It had went inside my garage all the way to the door.
911, what are you reporting?
Jesus Christ, you better...
Sir?
See ya!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh.
You're listening to Sasquatch Chronicles. Check us out online at sasquatchchronicles.com. If you've had an encounter, email me. My email address is wes@sasquatchchronicles.com. Welcome to the show, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight. Got a great show planned for you tonight. Going to be speaking to Jay. And Jay's had several encounters, actually, over about a 30-year period. I think it's a total of 4 encounters. 2 of the times he never saw the creatures. But, you know, most of his encounters surround him hunting. And his encounters, one of the times he got a really good look at the creature, got a long look at one of these creatures. And another one of his encounters, he was talking to family friends, and they were having troubles with these creatures around the property. And wait till you hear how they got rid of these creatures. Very, very fascinating. If you've had an encounter and you'd like to be on the show, shoot me an email. My email address is wes@sasquatchchronicles.com. On tomorrow night, I'm actually going to be speaking to Dr. John Bennernagel. And John is a professional wildlife biologist. He's pretty well known in the Bigfoot world. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, by the way. And John will be sharing his experiences, and he'll be sharing some of his knowledge. We'll be talking about science and the science behind the Sasquatch. And actually, John will be sharing one of his encounters. Most people don't know this. John's actually had an encounter. So it should be a very fascinating discussion. I really hope you guys enjoy it. And then on Sunday, long weekend, you guys will have to forgive me. I couldn't help myself. But I'll be inviting Russell Accord and Bob Gimlin to the show. And it'll be a little bit different than what you're normally used to hearing with Bob. You know, I interviewed Bob back, I think it was episode 80-something. It was a while back. And we talked about the Patterson-Gimlin film. We talked about his encounters, his feeling about the film. And so it'll be a really cool show. You know, most people don't know this, but Bob actually knew Evel Knievel and almost went into business with him. And I'll be asking him, you know, how he thinks Roger Patterson would feel today if he were alive seeing the Sasquatch subject. And we'll be talking about Bob's life. It'll be more relaxed, a little bit different than what you guys are used to hearing. Try and keep it fun. And I really hope you guys enjoy it. We'll be mainly discussing the International Bigfoot Conference, but I want to talk about the different adventures Bob's been on throughout his life, and should be a really cool show, so look forward to that. But let's jump into it tonight. I want to welcome Jay to the show. Jay, thanks for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me.
No, I appreciate you coming on. And I know you had 4 encounters, and the first one happened back in the 80s, didn't it?
Yes, early 80s. Well, mid-80s, actually. I was hunting down southwest of Harrisonburg, Virginia, and when I hunt, I go pretty deep into the woods. That way I don't have to deal with other hunters that are really not hunters, or idiots with guns, basically. And I walked in, it was probably an hour and a half, 2 hours of good walk-in from where I parked my truck. And I got up into the tree. Now, this is long before the self-climbing tree stands were popular. I was using climbing spikes like tree climbers use. And I would climb up, get into a tree and strap the harness in, and I would just stay in the tree all day. And it was great because I could climb as high as I wanted to. I could work around branches and, get good and high up and get out of that thermal area where the deer can really smell you and pick up your scent. So I was just sitting there and minding my own business and enjoying, waiting for daylight, and I just heard this walking coming. Or actually, it wasn't coming towards me right away. It was walking, and it was a good distance off, but I could hear it walking. I thought it was another hunter, which kind of disappointed me because I thought I was far enough in and I didn't have to deal with the idiots again. But all of a sudden, the walking stopped, and it changed direction, and it sounded like it was coming straight towards me. So I found that kind of weird. And then whatever this was, I don't know. I didn't see it because it was dark. I mean, it was pitch black dark. You couldn't hardly even see your hand from your face. It was at the bottom of the tree that I was in. And it walked around the tree 2 or 3 times. And all of a sudden, the tree started shaking. I mean, it wasn't a violent shake, but it was just shaking, so like something had grabbed a hold of it and was just shaking the tree. Well, I hunt with a 45-70 Marlin lever action. And that's a pretty stout brush gun. And I don't ever climb with a round in the chamber because just safety issues. So I hadn't put a round in the chamber yet, but this thing started shaking the tree. I worked the lever on the gun, and I put a round in the chamber, and the minute that metal clink sounded, whatever it was that was at the bottom of the tree made a beeline out of there very fast. It ran off probably maybe 100 yards or so, and it stopped, and then it made 3 really abrupt barks at me. It was not like a dog bark, but it's kind of hard to explain, but it just made a bark at me, and then it was quiet for a couple seconds, and then it just walked off real calm. Like it wasn't running, it just walked off real calm, like it was like, I told you, you know.
Did it run off on 2 legs?
It sounded like 2 legs. I mean, I know what 4 legs sound like because I've plenty of deer hunting. You know what deer sound like when they're walking through the woods, 4 legs. Bears, I've seen bears walking through the woods on 4 legs, you know, and it wasn't 4 legs. It was on 2. To the best of my knowledge, it was on 2. I mean, I didn't see it. Like I said, it was so dark. And but I'll tell you this, it rattled my cage.
I bet. Have you ever looked up gorilla bark and see if it was something similar to that? Because gorillas bark, but it sounds different than a dog.
No, I've never heard of gorilla bark. It was whatever this bark was. I could tell it came from deep down inside its lungs because it was a real forceful bark. I mean, and it echoed through the woods.
Yeah, that would be enough to terrify you. Did you end up leaving as soon as the sun came up, or what did you end up doing?
Yeah, I after it gone, the sun came up, and but you know, all is right in the woods when you're in the woods and you hear the birds chirping and you hear squirrels jumping around and you know, when you hear that, you know all's right in the woods. But when you don't hear that, you know there's something wrong in the woods. When I started hearing the birds chirping and the squirrels jumping around, I figured it was safe enough to get down out of the tree. So I, hooked up a rope because I always carry a rope with me, and I could, double tie up, and then I can rappel down out of the tree fast. So I don't have to climb back down, just rappel down. And I got down on the ground, folded up my rope, put it all away. Always, when I'm in the woods, whether I've got a rifle, shotgun, or a bow, when I'm hunting, I've always got a 44 Magnum on my hip. And I unsnapped the strap on it to make sure if I had to get it out quick, I could get it out. Check the chamber, make sure, pop the cylinder out, make sure there were 6 rounds in it, put it back in. Check my rifle, make sure there was a round in the chamber, and I eased on back out.